Part 2, the formatting toolbar. Now remember what we said, the formatting toolbar we will find under the home button in the menu, and in this ribbon you get all the things that you can use as the formatting toolbar. You will also have a shortcut. If you select anything, you will also get this shortcut over here that is also a floating formatting toolbar. So before we start, I'm just going to stand in front of the paragraph, enter, go back up, and I am going to add a heading, electricity. That will make it easier to stand out before we start with our formatting tool exercise. So anytime that you have a paragraph or a document, you will have a heading. Now I'm not going to work with the heading styles here on this side at the moment. We'll leave that for later. We are just going to work here on the left hand side of the formatting toolbar. Now you will see here on top the calibri, the 12, the A, bigger and smaller, and the colors and all these things. You can only use that when you have selected a word or a paragraph to change. So let's just highlight our heading at the moment, and I want to change the font of my heading. So I'm going to Calibri and click on the drop down arrow. It will open up a whole set of new font. So depending on which Windows exercise that you or version that you use. Now I have quite a lot of different font. As a designer, I need to have many different ones. The basic Windows installation will not have all of them. So you can scroll up and down, so you can either click on the horizontal scroll, vertical scroll bar going up and down, or you can click on your arrow, on your arrow key on the keyboard. You can scroll down and find the one that you like. You'll see it changes here on the right hand side, or you can just use the scroll wheel on your mouse and scroll down until you find one that you like. So for the moment I am going to use one that is not bold yet, so let's just find a nice one that we can see the differences. So sometimes it's very difficult to decide, so I'm going to use the Comic Sans Serif, and you will see it has changed the font to what it was. Now if you don't like it, you can just click on the arrow again and choose a new one, or you can click on the undo button there on top to go back to where it was. Now I'm going to stay with what I have at the moment. Now usually your heading must be bigger than your paragraph. So how do you make it bigger? There's a 12 with a drop down arrow. If you open it up on the arrow, you can get extra that you can click, or you can just scroll over it and find one that works. So you can see that there's a 26 and a 28, so there is not a 27. So if you perhaps want, for some stupid reason, a 27, click one and just type in the value there and press enter. So even if you don't want to use any one of these ones, you can highlight it and type in your own value that you want. Right, you can also make it bigger or smaller on those two A's. If you hover on top of one, you'll see it says increase font size, or the one next to it is decrease font size. So just by clicking it, you can make it bigger, and by clicking on the other one, you can make it smaller. You'll see as you make it bigger, the values here on the left hand side will change, or if you make it smaller, the value changes as well. Good. Now a heading, you want a heading to stand out. So electricity I want to make bold. So there's bold or italic and underline. So my heading, if what happens when I do bold, if I click on bold, you'll see it changes it to be a little bit fatter. If I take the bold away, it gets thinner again. So I want a fat bold heading. What does italic mean? Put it a little bit more to the right hand side. It lets it like lie down on the side. If I press the I again, it takes it away. So I leave it like that, and the U is for underline. And click on that one, you take it away. So you can choose which one you want. So you can test it. If you don't like it, you just undo it by clicking on it again. Right, so that is Comic Sans Serif. You can change your font size over there, or the font. You can change the size over there on any one of those three buttons. You can make it bold, or italic, or underline with those three. What if I want to change the color of my heading? Here on this side there's an A with red. If you just click on red, it will immediately change the font into red. But you have a drop down arrow there where you have different colors that you can change it to. If you cannot find the color that you want, you can click on more colors, and you can either move the 4 dots. If you see around there, as you move it, you will see the color there changes. You can also move that one up or down to make it darker or lighter, or you can click on the standard where they will give you the different choices, even more choices than you can do. So I like to have my headings in blue, so you click on one and you say okay. So on the A there, drop down arrow, choose a color. The ones that you have used last will always be here at the bottom. If you don't like any one of those ones, go to more colors, and either at custom or at standard you can choose your color that you need. Now a heading can also, or sometimes you want specific words to stand out, especially if you're studying and like you use the highlighter pens. You can use a highlighter on the computer, and that's just next to the font color. You will find one that says highlight the text. Immediately you can highlight it in yellow, or you can click on the drop down arrow and they will give you different choices. As you just go across, you'll see the choices that you have. Now I know many of you like the darker colors, or you want a dark green one or a dark brown. Just a quick tip: if you want to change anything or highlight the words, especially if you need to have people, different people to read it, or you want to print it, do not go for the darker colors. The light colors are always just much more easier to read, and especially when it's printed and the room is dark and all those kind of variables are there. Just use the light ones, just a suggestion. Especially if you want me to read it and give you marks, then use the lighter color. Just a quick tip. Right, so you have the fonts there, everything that to change the appearance of the font you will find over there. But is a heading usually on the left hand side? Not always. So if I say move your heading to the middle, I know a lot of people are pressing enter, 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 and they're moving up like that. But see what happens over there. I don't want that, so I'm going to say undo. There is a shortcut by using the paragraph, left align, center align, right align, or justify. Currently you'll see the left align is highlighted there. That means my heading is here on the left hand side. If I click on center, my heading jumps to the center of the page. If I click on the right align, my heading jumps to the right hand side of the page. So left align goes to left, center jumps to center, right align jumps to the right. Now what does justify means? The fourth one, justify. What does that mean? In a document, now currently mine, let's just highlight my paragraph here. You will see it is left align. That means everything here on the left is straight underneath each other. If I click center align, it goes in to the middle of the page as much as possible. If I click on right align, the right hand side will all be straight underneath each other. Justify in a paragraph means the left align and the right align will be straight below the other one. That is how people, when they are writing books, they always use justify and make sure that it has a neat coverage of your page. So at the moment, it doesn't matter how it looks like, you can go back to your left align. You will see justify is some places that spaces between the letters will just be a little bit more, just to make sure that your spacing is very nice and clear. It's very easy to read when you use the justify button icon there on top. Good. So we are going to do, before I do the last one there on top, the buttons, we need to do a little bit, you need to do something with this paragraph. When you use the buttons, the bulleted buttons, when you make a list, if I highlight my paragraph and I put in a list, just say I'm using the star, then because I have only one paragraph, there will only be one bullet. So how do we get it to have a couple of different bullets? Remember, bullets are used for when you write a list. You have a shopping list, or you have a list for birthday presents, or a Christmas wish list, or you want everything to be underneath each other and make a plan. So I'm going to just stand in front of each new sentence and I'm going to press enter. So that means every sentence will now be on its own line. Good. So now I can highlight them. You can have buttons there, or you can have numbers. So let's just go to the buttons first, the bullets. Now the bullets that you use most often will be up there, and it will change from computer to computer because every user has a different liking into which one he wants to use. But the black dot, this empty dot, and the black square and this arrow will be the most used ones often, and will be, when you open any new bulleted list, they should be there very easy. So the moment that you hover on top of one, you will see it changes at the bottom in your paragraph, so you can choose how it will look like what you do. You can also go to define a new bullet, and you can add symbols. So you can click on the wingdings, especially if you have a specific paragraph. So we are working with electricity, so we can see if we have something that's power. So you can go and play with it and see if there's something that you can use. So I'm just going to give me a new arrow over there. You can change the size eventually, but this is just, you click and say insert, and you see the buttons over there will change. If you have a picture on your computer that fits with your story, then you can also go and find the pictures from there. But for now, mostly just stay with the ones that is on your computer. For your age at the moment, grade 4 to 6, just stay with the basic ones. But if you want to go and play with the rest, feel free and explore. You can also do the same with the numbers, and you can have numbers with a full stop, numbers with brackets, Roman numericals, capital letters, small letters, and all those kind of choices that you have there. So these ones are usually used in exams when the teachers are writing things, just to make sure that you know which number. So if somebody asks a question, she can easily refer you to go to line number 4 or sentence number 4. Whereas all of them were arrows, then you have to physically to go and count in a time that you are under stress. So to make things look nice, use the pictures. When you have to refer people to something, then you use your numbers. And you can also change the color, and just check that the list, you can choose where you want it to be as well. So to find a new one, you can click on the center, left, right, click on the font, and you can choose the color. So for example, I want red, and you say OK, and it changes to red. Right. So there are different ways of formatting things. So even if I give you just a few examples here on top, you have to go in and play with it to know what to find and what exactly you can do with everything.